not.
Yeah. Hey everyone, it's Jen at Ink Paper Rubber. I have been working on getting to the point where I could do this video all day, and I'm finally here. So we got some new things in today, and as you can see, we have some new Tim Holtz. But let me show you a couple other things that came in before we jump into that. First of all, we got a new stamp set that goes along with the waffle flower swatch sets that we have had in, and this is their ink pad swatch, and basically what it lets you do is it lets you use your ink pads to stamp on here. So one, you could make swatches with your ink pads with this. The other thing that it lets you do is it has these little triangles and half squares and such, and that is for filling in this particular part of it here, which has to do with watercolors. I know that doesn't seem terribly clear. It's not that difficult, but it does take a little bit of explanation. I might tell you, you might want to consider coming to our free demo this month, because we are actually going to be having a demo on these stamp sets and how you can use them to make swatches of all the different pigments that you have. So definitely might want to check that out. A couple of other things we got in. It is coming up on the holidays, and one of our favorite gold inks is this Delicata. It is a pigment ink, but it actually is really not designed for embossing. You can emboss it, but they don't recommend that you do, and I would second that because it is one of the most beautiful golds that I have ever seen. So we did get that ink pad back in, and we also have the re-inker for it. You might want to pick that up so that you don't run out of ink right in the middle of a project. Another thing that I got in is archival ink cleaner. Now, those of you that take classes here know that I am not all that big on stamp cleaners, and I don't worry too much about cleaning my stamps up. I don't really care if they get stained. The one time that I do worry about cleaning my stamps is if I have stamped with an ink that is going to potentially contaminate another ink color later on. And in that case, I will use my stamp chamois to clean the stamps off with, but especially with permanent inks, I don't really worry about it too much. But there is one instance where you really do need to get any residual ink off of your stamp, and that's if you're using the alcohol lift ink pad, because the alcohol lift ink will really pick up and reactivate any ink that's on your stamp, and generally that's not going to be something you're wanting to do when you're using that. So I did get some of this archival ink cleaner in. This is what Tim recommends for cleaning your stamps both before and after you use the alcohol lift ink. All right, on to Tim Holtz. We have gotten in the new Tim Holtz fall and Halloween Sizzix dies. There's some really great things here. I'm going to tell you right up front that most of this stuff I don't have a lot of extras of. Most of our Tim Holtz Sizzix things we take pre-orders for, and we do get a few extras in, but we don't have a lot, and I do expect that these are probably going to go pretty fast. So if you see something you want, you definitely might want to come by and pick it up. First of all, for fall, we have this beautiful skeleton leaves die. All of these except for one die are the Thinlits dies, so they're really reasonably priced. This one you get these 5 beautiful leaves, and it is $20. Another one that I really like a lot is the Funky Foliage die. This has a lot of really great autumn foliage and flowers. You can see there is an acorn there, but my absolute favorite on here are the mushrooms that are on here. I think those are so much fun. We also have a side order set, and these are sets that are specifically designed to work with the Sidekick die cutting and embossing machine, but you can certainly use them in just a regular full-size die cutting machine like the Big Shot or the Cuttlebug. It has these 4 dies here. Actually, there's probably more, but they make these 4 things: the acorn, the pumpkin, the leaf, and the thanks. And then there is also a little itty-bitty embossing folder. And when I say little, you can see it really is small because this is designed so that it will work in the Sidekick. Probably my favorite thing from Tim's recent Sizzix release has to be the Swirling Stars die. You get several dies in here, and these are primarily, especially with these little itty-bitty ones, designed to be used as negative dies where you cut it out of your project and have something behind it. But some of the bigger stars you could definitely cut out and use those on your project as well. And you do get several different dies in this set. All right, let's move on to some really fun Halloween items. First of all is the Halloween side order, again designed for the Sidekick. You can see that it has these fun dies in it, as well as this little baby embossing folder that has bats on it. This next one is really fun. It is called Ghoulish, and you can see here you get the skeleton and you get a Dracula, and it looks like a Frankenstein. Those are so fun. You also get some bats. This is the one Biggs die in the bunch, and this is Sinister, and this is a really amazing skull. This next one is called Halloween Hangouts, and I think these are really fun, these little things. And the reason for that is, again, these don't actually cut out the outside shape, they just cut out the inside shape. So one of the things that would be really fun to do with this is to create shaker cards with this. I also think these would be really awesome to use with this next die, which is the treat bag die. It has a die that creates this little treat bag, and you could absolutely use the Halloween Hangouts to cut openings in your treat bag. This is also a really great die because it also includes this alphabet die, and it also has numbers and symbols. So if you want, you can die cut a word or several words into your treat bag. Alright, a couple more. This would be another really fun one to use with the treat bag die. This one is called Frightening Faces, and you can see this is a negative die, and it cuts out all these fun faces with the different eyes and mouths. And the last thing we have here is called Laboratory, and this has all of these amazing bottles, and it does include the dies to cut the pieces you see there on the inside, so they can either make labels for your bottles, or you can also use them to make little shakers out of your bottles. Really, really fun. All right, that is all that I have for you right now. I hope that you all have a great evening. If you see something here you like, we are open until 8 tonight, so stop on by.